Oh,
Good morning, Sister Samantha. How's Hackensack, New Jersey treating you?
oh, it's treating me well. Thank you.
What's your question,
Sorry,
sweetheart? It's a question. Hackensack. Is Hackensack north? No, Hackensack is like near Trenton, right? Or is it South Jersey?
No, it's actually closer to like Fort Lee and the city.
Okay, so it's up top. It's near New York.
Yes.
Okay, I got you. I've seen the sign plenty of times. I just couldn't remember where. Go right ahead with your question, sweetheart.
So really my question is do you know what are the best resources to implement like just better? I have an 8-year-old son. Well, he's about to be 8 in May, and I have a newborn, and he's in between the household between me and his father, and he's seen us go, growing up back and forth, arguing a lot, and we're just getting at the point where we're getting along as parents, but his behavior is just been reflective of like just all of the things that he's been through. We also like lost a cousin that was very close to him, that was like a pretty strong like male figure in his life, who like used to like take him to sports every day, and just like he lost something significant in his life. And so I'm just trying to see like what resources I can use to like just figure out how I can like get through to him.
You're talking about your son.
I'm sorry.
You're saying get through to the son or your partner?
My son, yeah. It's just very small things like, controlling his anger and being able to focus in school.
Okay, okay, but you're still with his father, correct?
No, we're not together.
Okay, y'all just getting along, but y'all not together.
Yeah.
Okay. Does the father spend time with him?
Yeah, absolutely.
How much time does he spend with him?
We share custody, so he has him 3 days out the week, and I have him for 4 days out the week.
Okay, because I'm wondering why the father isn't working with your son on some of those issues, the anger management and those type of things. What kind of relationship does he have with his father?
Well, his father passed away. Like his father's father, like grandpa passed away. So that's, he passed away when he was like, I think, like the younger years. Like,
okay, you're saying your son's biological father is no longer with us?
Oh, no. They have a good relationship, but as a father, he just, he's been trying to reach out. We've been trying to work together to see what resources could help us, because we're not getting through to him.
Okay, neither one of you are getting through to him. But take me back.
Yes.
What kind of relationship does he have with his biological father?
Oh, like they get along well. I know his father works a lot, so sometimes he's at grandma's house. More than, he's at his grandma's house.
In other words, his father isn't spending the time with him that he needs him to.
Well, I can't say that, because he does try his best.
No, I didn't say he didn't try. I'm not judging the father. I'm looking at this from a child-centered perspective. So what I'm asking you, my beautiful African sister, from a child's perspective, I suspect that your son perceives that his father isn't spending the time with him that he would like. Is that correct?
That could be it. That could be a factor, possibly. But they do spend time together. Like, when he does pick him up, they go do sports together. But, now that you're saying it out loud, maybe that is a factor. For sure.
Okay. Now, what about you? How much time are you spending with your son face to face? Now, when I talk about time, I don't mean he's with you. That's not what I mean by time, because that could be empty time, right? Like I could live with my child and it's empty time. I mean, face to face, mom and son, y'all looking at each other eating dinner, or you guys are out together going for a walk, or, you know, something of that nature. How are you spending enough time with him?
Well, yes and no.
Yes and no. Explain to me yes and no.
So I haven't been working since the pandemic. So I have been home, and I have been at home with him, and I'm here. But I just had a newborn, so lately it's been
see, it's always what y'all don't tell me that matters the most.
Yes.
Now you see, we've been talking for a minute, and you never mentioned that you have a newborn child. Now, how old is the baby? How old is the baby?
The baby's 4 months. But
boy or girl?
Also has a 1-year-old.
Okay, boy or girl, your child?
Boy.
So your son has a 4-month-old little brother, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they're the only two children by you. Mm-hmm. And the father has a 1-year-old child. Mm-hmm. Is that a boy or a girl?
A girl.
Okay, so he got a little brother from mom, 4 months, and a little sister from dad, 1-year-old. I think I know what the problem is. Question. The father only has 2 children as well?
Yeah.
I know what the problem is, and so do you. The problem is he was the center of attention all of his life until the past year. And he sees that the time he used to get from mom, understandably, most of it goes to his 4-year-old little brother who has a different father. And the time he used to spend with dad goes to his 1-year-old sister who has a different mother. So your son is angry because he feels like he's being left out because neither parent is doing enough to make him feel like he's still the priority he once was before the new children came into the picture. Now, I got another question. Mm-hmm. Are you currently involved with your 4-month-old son's father?
No.
No. Okay, understood. Is his father involved with your son's 1-year-old little sister?
Yes.
Okay, so part of the anger from dad is dad has a new family. He got a woman and a child. So I know he's feeling alienated over there. On your side, you're not necessarily involved with the father of your newborn, but as a mother, naturally being maternal, that newborn is getting all your attention and you're not being conscious of the fact that you're neglecting your 8-year-old.
Right.
You see that? That's the anger. So you and dad need to make a concerted effort to start spending more time with your 8-year-old son before y'all lose him to the streets in the next 3 or 4 years.
Right.
Now, do you have any responsible uncles or brothers or cousins who could spend some time with your son?
Oh, absolutely. And they do, actually. It's funny that you say that because my brother actually picked him up yesterday after we had a pretty bad day as far as he's just yesterday was just one of those days where it didn't go as good as I would like it to go. And that's why I'm reaching out to you, because I want to understand what more I can do for him as far as
the biggest thing is time.
Time is great because we have been spending more quality time together as far as doing things that he likes to do, which also is a little borderline because he likes to play video games, so I'll watch him, but that's not helping. The video games are sucking him into a portal somewhere. And, we do spend some quality time, but I'm asking, what activities or what resources can we do to help him to like better focus in school and better focus and listen when we are speaking with him, and like, you know,
So you're
better
saying
ways to
he
cope with
he don't
his
even like to
nature.
listen to you and dad.
Right.
He's angry at y'all. He's angry at the both of you.
Angry at everything. He's just angry.
Right, but children are not naturally angry. They always have a reason, right?
Yeah.
The reason may not be rational, but it's the reason. Remember, children are ego-centered. They're self-centered. The world is all about them. That's how they see things. In fact, he might even blame himself for you and his father breaking up. How long have you and the father been apart?
Oh, since he was 6 months.
Okay, so most of his life you guys have been apart.
Yeah.
He's angry at you guys. Y'all got to get him back. I think y'all need to do some counseling. I think you should Google psychologists in Hackensack, New Jersey, or that general area. They'll come up on the internet. You won't have a problem finding them. And I think you guys should have a couple sessions of family therapy. Not that you and him are getting together. It's not about you and the father. It's about the son. Right.
No.
Y'all need a couple sessions of family therapy.
We spoke about that. My concern as a mom with a young Black son is that, you know, bringing him to a psychologist just opens up doors for like medication and
No, it don't. No, it don't. No. It don't open the door for medication. Getting him diagnosed with ADHD, a conduct disorder, or oppositional defiant disorder, which will be coming soon if y'all don't intervene. That's on the way. Because if he's not listening to you guys, he damn sure ain't going to listen to the teacher if he don't even listen to his parents. You understand?
Right.
This is why you've always heard me say, good sister, that ADHD stands for Ain't No Daddy at Home Disorder. That's why I call it. Your case is exactly why I call ADHD Ain't No Daddy at Home Disorder. Because when the father is not spending time with the son, he gets angry, he gets rebellious, he gets distractible, he gets hyper, and the next thing you know, he gets labeled with ADHD, ODD, CD, and then they push the drugs. We don't want that. I'm glad you called in. That was responsible. We don't want that. But in order to stop that, y'all have to recognize that this is a very serious situation. And that y'all have to get some counseling ASAP.
Okay.
And it needs to be 3 ways. The counseling needs to be 3 ways. It could be the same person, but it needs to be 3 ways. You need to have sessions with all 3 of you, mom, dad, and son. You also going to have some sessions just mom and son, because y'all got things y'all need to work on your relationship. And then there's going to be sessions with son and dad, because they have to work on issues in their relationship. And then there's going to be sessions with your son by himself with the therapist.
Okay.
You follow me? So I would just Google Google psychologist, Google licensed professional counselor,
Okay.
and Google licensed clinical social worker. Those are the 3. It don't matter which one you get. Psychologist is the most expert, right? I'm not asking you to do psychiatrists because they tend to prescribe medicine, and a lot of psychiatrists tend not to treat you if they don't give you a prescription. So we don't want to mess with the psychiatrist. We want to mess with the psychologist, licensed professional counselor, LPC, or LCSW, licensed clinical social worker.
Okay, and you don't personally do any
I couldn't do it in your state because you're not in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
It got to be New Jersey.
Okay. Thank you so much.
But don't hesitate, mama. And also, even if you got to get a babysitter, somebody you can trust to be with your baby for 2-3 hours, not long, because only 4 months old, the little prince. So you and your son can go for a walk. It don't always take money. Y'all go for a walk, go sit in the park. Y'all can pack lunch because it's getting warm outside. Pack lunch and go have lunch in the park together, just you and him. But you're going to have to do some things with him without the newborn. Because if you don't start doing things with your 8-year-old without your 4-month-old, he's going to start disliking his little brother. You understand? Right. I know adults right now who hate their siblings, who never did anything to them.
Right.
They hate them because the mom treated them better. The dad treated them better. The grandmom treated them better. You don't want that. You want your 8-year-old to look out for your 1-year-old, because tomorrow is not promised for none of us. And you need to know, God forbid, if something happened to you, that when your 8-year-old gets older, he's going to look for his 1-year-old brother and build a relationship with his 1-year-old brother. Okay, that's not going to happen if he continues to look at his little brother as a competitor for his mother's attention. So start spending some time with him alone and include him in with the 4-year-old. Hey, do you want to change his pamper? Do you want to feed him the bottle? Give him some responsibility with the 4-year-old so he's included and not just standing on the side watching you.
No, yeah. Everything that you're saying, we've recently been more aware of and spending more time now. I think we're in recovery from like those years that we didn't spend as much time.
Well, that's good to hear. That's really good to hear. I mean, once we get the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy up and running, sis, he'll be able to come down there, you know, and participate, because we're going to have all kind of programs for Black boys. We're going to be a whole Black boy university. So we'd love to have him with us too.
Thank you so much.
No problem, Queen. Good luck and keep me posted.
Okay, I will.
All right, now. No problem. All right. Black men. Black men. Black men. Black men. I'm talking to black men. When you break up with these women, you cannot turn your back on your sons. When you break up with these women or they break up with you, you cannot turn your back on your son, consciously or unconsciously. I know sometimes you say to yourself, this woman is causing me so much drama, I'm just going to step away until she chill out. Well, guess what? She never going to chill out. She never going to chill out. But she's raising a boy, not a girl. And because she's raising a boy, you can afford to disconnect from your son. You can't. He'll end up in the gang. He'll end up on drugs. He'll end up in the opium crisis. He'll get recruited by the rainbow community. Imagine you cutting your son off and you come back 5 years later and your son is your daughter. Imagine cutting your son off and you come back 5 years later and your son is your daughter. Listen, black men, no excuses. You cannot abandon your son physically or emotionally. And you black women with sons, stop making it hard. You black women, stop using your son as a weapon against his father, because it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. I'm going to say it again. Black women, stop using your son as a weapon against his father, because it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. We have to stop this. Nobody's perfect, and nobody can fault you for not staying together. Nobody's perfect. Nobody can fault you guys for no longer being under the same roof. But we can hold you accountable for not working together for that child's best interests. Cut it out. We are helping them destroy our children. Dr. Umar, I'm a single mom. My son is 11. I live in Orlando, Florida. The school wants to label him. He's been suspended multiple times. He called the teacher a racist. I will change his school. Changing his school ain't going to do nothing. Hold on.
Hello, Dr. Umar. How are you?
Good morning, beautiful. How's sunny Orlando, Florida treating you?
It's great. It's great.
Okay, I just read your synopsis. So your son called the teacher a racist. What is he being suspended for? What is he being suspended for?
Well, he's been suspended multiple times, basically for, so they say, not listening. He'll talk back, or what else? Just playing around with friends and not listening. At first, I thought maybe, he's being a class clown. but they're calling me for nonsense.
Like what? Be specific. What are they calling you about?
Okay, so the other day he was playing with his friends, and the teacher says I don't use the N-word in my house, but people do, and him and his friends they didn't put an ER on it, but they were playing, and then the white teacher called and said he said nigger, so then they suspended him for that. He called her a racist. Then the other day he got suspended because he's coming to class late, and the principal did acknowledge that from the gym to the class that he attends, it's a long hallway and some students are late, but he's constantly being late to that one class. So they gave him detention and a suspension for that. And then he was skipping class, so he got suspended for that as well. I don't work from home. I'm a medical billing coder, so I have to go to work. So at one point he was skipping school. I found out he got suspended for that. So it's skipping and talking back and not going to school.
Does your son listen to you? Does he
Yes.
He does?
Yes.
Okay. What grade is he in?
He's in the 6th grade.
Okay. It's not common for 6th graders to skip class. And when I hear children are skipping class in elementary school, it is often an early signal of juvenile delinquency when they're skipping that young. They don't normally start skipping till high school, maybe 7th and 8th grade, but your son is skipping in the 6th grade. That sounds like a problem. Where is his biological father?
My ex-husband lives in New York. The backstory to that is we have 3 children together. One is in college in Hawaii. The other one, the middle one, she's with me as well. She's 16. And my ex-husband was abusive to me. So there's a little trauma there, but not to the children. However, Ethan is the apple of his eye. He does send child support, but he doesn't spend time with the children. And my daughters don't want to spend time with him, which I understand. They're older. I'm not forcing them. However, my son, I do send him to the grandparents, and the father will take him. My ex-husband doesn't want to spend time with him. I'm not one of those women that call and bother and disturb his life. I let him be. But he doesn't show an effort to spend time. He'll send money for them, but in terms of time and conversation, he could care less.
Okay. Number one, I don't care what he wants. You have a right to bother him because you have his son. Number two, is he responsible enough to take your son? Meaning,
no.
Why not?
Sorry.
Why not? Because let me say this before you answer. I know how women can be about being possessive over the children. But if he cutting class in the 6th grade, okay, he may need to go live with his father during the school year, because sooner or later, he's going to be beyond your control if this don't slow down. But why do you think the father can't take him during the school year?
I think the father can't take him during the school year because, first of all, his living arrangement. I don't believe in I'm better than anyone, but he lives in a lower income area. His new wife, he has a baby with the new wife, and then they live in a 1-bedroom. There's no room for Ethan. And then the last summer when I did let Ethan go visit, he had him running around Brooklyn with no supervision. That's not how I parent. So, and then I found out that my ex-husband is in a gang and stuff.
Your ex-husband is in a gang. How old are you and the ex-husband, if you don't mind me asking?
We're 37.
37. Okay. Here's a couple things. Tell me about this school. The students in this school are mostly what? What race?
White.
So he goes to a mostly white student school. Okay, that's like a suburb of Orlando, right?
Yes.
Okay, your son, describe him to me physically. Is he a dark skin, light skin?
And I'm so glad you said that because he is a darker skin tone. He's 11, but he is 5'7", 5'8", and he's built like a football player because my ex-husband, he's built stocky. His son is not heavy, but he's very strong. If someone is afraid of black men, they would be afraid of him. Very kind, very sweet, but he does not look 11 at all. Okay.
And he's defiant to the white folks in there.
Yes, sir.
How many other black boys in his class?
Maybe one.
Other
or two.
Okay. So we got two things going on here. On the one hand, well, we got three things. We have an absentee father who met another woman, had another baby, and moved on. So this is the second case today. Black fathers, I hope y'all paying attention because today we have a theme of black fathers abandoning their sons and leaving them with the mother and not coming back to play a part. So that seems to be the theme of today's Black Parent Teleconference. So we have the abandonment of the father. That's one. Then we have a boy with no discipline. That's two. Okay. And then we have a white racist school. That's three. Now, you mentioned that you were thinking about, did you say thinking about taking him out that school?
Yes, I'm actually in the Lukumi religion, and Orula has said that he needs to be removed. He needs to go to a new school. So now I'm in the process of trying to find a new school, but in the meantime, trying not to get him expelled from this school.
Okay, and he's not in special ed, correct?
No, sir.
Okay, and he's in the sixth grade. The school that he's at right now goes up to what grade?
8th grade.
So he would be there for 2 more years. If you moved him to another school, what school would that be? Because isn't this the neighborhood school? Or were you going to put him in a private school, or what are you thinking?
Well, honestly, I can't afford a private school because I have 2 other children and the other one is in college. I was thinking another school, Glenridge, because it's kind of in the same zone, but I fear that I'll have the same issues because this area is...
It's white.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't go to the hood because it sounds like your son is already attracted to delinquent behaviors. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Ouch, 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 ouch. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, number one, you're going to have to crack down on him with discipline. That's number one. If you don't, you're going to lose your son, especially if what you say about the father is true, that he's not really interested in being involved. Okay, you have to crack down. You have to say 11. You got to handle this before 13. If this ain't handled before 13, we're going to lose them. So what you have to do is you have to get you a calendar for the wall. I want you to get a large wall calendar, like the 3 feet calendar, big calendar. And you and your son are going to sit down and y'all going to come up with a behavioral contract. And on that behavioral contract, you're going to write down all the consequences he's going to get when he doesn't do what he's supposed to do in the home. So, for example, you cut school, you don't go outside that entire week. I'm giving you just rough examples. You can think about these. You cut school, you don't go outside for a whole week. Okay, you don't turn in an assignment. You got to volunteer at the homeless shelter. You got to volunteer at the old folks home. Basically, you have to make your son uncomfortable. You're going to go clean up in the neighborhood. Think of all the things he would hate to do. This is what you got to do. You got to think of all the things he would hate to do. Those are your consequences.
Okay.
And then you got to think of the things he would love to do. Those are the rewards. Now, when he has a bad day at school, okay, he has to get a consequence that day. So if he had a bad day at school, you might say, hey, you had a bad day at school today. So tomorrow, straight from school, you have to go volunteer at, maybe there's an elder in the neighborhood. You got to go clean up, Mrs. Brenda's house. And with older children, making them do things they want to do is much more effective than timeout. Timeout isn't going to work with 11-year-old. Sending him to his room isn't going to work with an 11-year-old. Taking a cell phone isn't going to work with an 11-year-old. When they are 11 and older, you have to make them do things that they don't want to do. Those are the consequences. So you have to find all kind of creative ideas that will inconvenience his little young life. And those become your consequences. You see?
Okay, I see.
Okay.
So
now, let me get this other part though. The consequences are daily. But the rewards, he has to earn those, right? So you might say, listen, if you give me 3 good days out of 5 at school, 3 good days out of 5, that means Saturday or Sunday, me and you gonna go to the movies, or we gonna go to dinner, or we gonna go to the park, or we gonna go roller skating together. You don't always have to use money. Excuse me, never use money and never use expensive gifts, right?
Okay.
And it don't have to be activities that always involve money either. Maybe y'all gonna bake a cake together, right? Think of the things he would want to do with you, because sometimes kids don't need to go somewhere. He might just want to do something fun with you at the house. Okay, those are the rewards. Now, let's say there's something really nice he wants. He wants the new Jordans. Okay, well, in order to get a new pair of Jordans, I need you to get all A's and B's on your report card. And no more than 1 bad day a week. So you have to sit down and think this through. But you have to come up with a behavior contract with your son that you make him sign. Okay, you have to do this. Yeah, you have to do this because you got to get him back. Now, I do want to say this. You got to be consistent, though, Mom. You got to be consistent, because the biggest problem with women is you're not consistent with your sons when it comes to discipline. You got to be consistent. You're not going to change his behavior by yelling. You're not going to change his behavior by begging. You're not going to change his behavior by explaining why he shouldn't be misbehaving. The only thing that changes behavior is consequences. That's it. And so you got to make sure you are administering the best consequences for him.
Okay.
You got me?
I got you. And everything you're saying is correct, because, I do have a problem with the consistency and the discipline, and that is my issue. And I thought to myself, put him in a sport, because he's tried all different kinds of sports. He wants to do boxing. So I said, maybe boxing might help him. But I don't know if that would be considered a reward, because what you're saying, I'm definitely going to do, because I need to try something different. But would you say to put him in the boxing as well as to do the behavior?
Here's what I would do. Here's what I would do. He really wants to be in boxing?
Yes.
This is what I would do. When does school get out in Orlando? When's the last month? May, June?
May.
End of May, middle of May?
End of May, like 20-something, almost like 30th, I believe. Got
you. So he has less than 2 months of school left. I would have boxing as a long-term reward. That's an end of the school year reward. Me and him would come to an agreement on what his report card is going to look like. I would also add up the total number of school days that are left. So, for example, there's 5 days in a week, 4 weeks in a month. So, for May, you're looking at 20 school days, right? For April, you're looking at, he probably got 30 to 40 school days left, right?
Yes.
So I would probably have a deal with him that says something like, you got 30 school days left. 20 of them have to be good school days. 20. No more than 10, because you got to give him room to mess up. You can't demand perfection because he won't even try. So you might say you got 30 school days left. 20 of those school days got to be perfect. I'm going to give you 10 mistakes. You got 10 days you can use. If you give me 20 of 30 or 30 of 40, in case there's 40 school days left, I will enroll you in boxing. Do you feel me? And then you got to also look at the report card, and you got to, I don't know how good he's doing. So you got to be reasonable. You might say, listen, he's doing horribly. So you might have to say, listen, I don't know, maybe for your son, 2 B's and 3 C's might be a success if he's doing horribly. So you might got to speak with his teachers and see, ask the teachers, if he really got on the ball right now, what's the highest grade he could earn? Find out and tell him that. Your teacher said if you really get on the ball, you could get a B- in this class. You could probably get an A over here. You could get a C+ over here. And you make a deal with him, right? I need 20 good days out of 30. And then I need you to get at least 3 B's on your report card. No failing F's, no failing grades, maybe 1 D. Again, be reasonable. Okay. But if all the teachers say he can still earn a B, let's say they say he can still get a B in every class. then I would only allow him maybe a C or 2 because he can still get a B. So your final report card has to be all Bs. I will allow 2 Cs in 20 good days out of 30, and I will enroll you in boxing. Use the boxing as leverage. That's the long-term reward for him to finish the school year the way you want him to. But keep in mind, sis, he still got to get them consequences every day he messes up. If he messes up Monday, after school Tuesday, he got that consequence. He messes up Thursday, after school Friday, he got that consequence. Consequences are daily. Rewards have to be earned at the end of the year.
Okay.
You follow me? And you can still put some small rewards in there too. You can say, hey, if you have a good week, we'll go to the movies on the weekend. You know, you have a good week, we'll go to the theme park. You can still have some small rewards that he earned every week. But the long-term reward is getting into boxing. Do not put him in that boxing if he does not deliver. So you and him need to sit down, come up with that contract. You need to have a meeting with his teachers and find out exactly what's the best grades he can earn for this year.
Okay.
And guess what? If he doesn't earn the boxing, you're still going to put him in some sort of an organized activity over the summer because we don't want him running wild this summer. Idle mind is the devil's workshop. I would put him in chess or karate. He wants to do boxing, so I would give him boxing if he earns it. If he doesn't earn the boxing, I would put him in chess, karate, or both.
Okay, we tried karate. Karate doesn't work, but maybe...
Why don't karate work?
Chess. Okay, you know what I think it was? But he was really little, and it was after school, you go to karate, and then on the weekends he did karate.
Woman, that was a long time ago. You said he was really little. Woman, he 11 years old. That don't count. He was 5 and 6. He's 11 now.
But he doesn't want to do it. And the reason why I think he doesn't want to do it is because it disciplines you and it takes time and it's effort and you have to be consistent. He doesn't want to do anything unless it's the video games or like the phone.
Okay.
He's not motivated to do anything.
You haven't taken that phone and them video games yet?
I have, but then I give it back.
No, you can't give it back. He got to earn it back. You see that? You see that?
Yeah.
You can't do that, Queen. You cannot give it back unless he earns it back. You have to give him the criteria for earning it back. You feel me? If I have to take your phone, you can only get it back in 2 weeks, and you can only get it back by achieving this. You might say for the next 2 weeks, your teachers must report to me that you had 7 good days out of 10, and then you get your phone back. It must be criteria, Queen. You just can't be taking it and no criteria. And see, here's what you need to do. Before you sit down and do the behavior plan with him, you need to come up with the behavior plan yourself. So for example, you got about 7 weeks of school left, right? So you might say, if you don't have a good week, this first week, I'm taking your phone. You don't have a good week the second week, I'm taking a video game. You don't have a good week the third week, you ain't going outside. You don't have a good week the fourth week. You follow what I'm saying? You want to come up with a whole schedule of consequences. But you cannot take and give back. That's a bad mixed signal. You take and you keep. And don't be arguing with him. Don't be debating with him or none of that. If he don't do what he's supposed to do, that's why you're going to have it all on paper on the contract. So there's nothing to argue about because you went over the whole thing with him.
Okay, perfect.
How many children you got in the house with him?
Well, one, because the older one is in college.
Got you. So you only got one. It's just them two.
Yeah, just those two.
Yeah, and you got to make sure you're old. How old is the older sibling?
The oldest one is 18, but the second oldest is 16. She's a girl.
Okay, 16 and 11 are in the house.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you got to make sure your 16-year-old and your 18-year-old do not sabotage the behavior plan. You got to let them know this is for your brother to be a responsible young man, because as a black man, if he ain't got no self-control, they're going to destroy him. Do not be helping him out. If I give him a consequence, enforce it. If you love your brother and want him to be a success in life, you will not undermine your mother. You will support me in this. This is for his own good. He has to have discipline and self-control if he's going to work, if he's going to make it in this world. Otherwise, y'all going to be going to see him in prison every week. And I know y'all don't want that for your brother. Make sure your daughters, are they both girls?
They're both girls. But one is the one in college, she's in Hawaii, so she won't do that. But you are correct in that statement, because the 16-year-old will help him out, because if I take the phone, she'll sneak him the iPad.
And that's why you got to make sure she's on board. And then guess what else you got to do?
What?
She going to have her own little behavior plan too, because guess what? You're going to tell her, if you sneak it to him, you will lose yours, and you will give her a certain amount of time. You will lose yours for a whole month. So go ahead and do that with your brother, and you'll both be out of it. I'm serious. Listen, you have to, in order to change, in order to teach discipline, you got to have it.
True.
In order to teach discipline, Queen, you have to have it. Question, is he, have you introduced him at all to Lukumi?
Yes, he actually, he's initiated.
Okay, but he should be apprenticing under Asanto.
Here's the issue with that. The Babalawo only speak Spanish, and they are white Cubans. There's one black male, but they're in Tampa. So when I drive, it's 2 hours away. So there's
okay, listen to me. I want you to text me in about 2 hours. Are you Afro-Cuban, Queen? What's your...
I'm a mix. My family's from Jamaica, but my grandfather was from Cuba, so I'm a mix.
Okay, so your mother is what?
She's black and white, but she's white passing, to be truthful.
I got you, but she's from Jamaica.
She was born here, but her family's from Jamaica.
Okay, your mother's family from Jamaica. Which one of her parents is white and black?
The father is white and the mother is a black.
Okay, so your mom's mom is a black woman.
Yes.
Okay, so she black. Okay,
yeah.
Now your father is. Give me that again.
He is Jamaican. His mother is a black Jamaican, and his father is a black Cuban.
Oh, so he's straight black.
Yes.
Okay, I got you. All right, so 3 of his 4 grandparents are black. Excuse me, 3 of your 4 grandparents are black.
Yes.
Okay.
And my ex-husband is Haitian, and we all lived together in the same, years ago, I lived in their house. So my children have a Haitian upbringing.
Okay.
They don't have a white upbringing.
I got you. So do you identify as Jamaican? Yeah, because both your parents Jamaican. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. The reason I asked you, because some of the ladies on the feed was asking me by your voice, what was your ethnicity? I knew you was African. I just didn't know which nationality. So it's Jamaican. So we cleared that up. No problem. But this is what I want you to do. Text me in about 2 hours, right?
Okay.
I'm going to text you the name and number of my godmother. She's in South Florida.
Okay.
And she might have a Babalawo that could take him under his wing. I'm just thinking that him studying Ifa Lukumi more regularly will be an activity. You follow me?
Yes.
To keep him out of nonsense and get him closer to the creator. So I think it's a win-win. So if you text me, I'm going to send you her info, and she might know of somebody that he can work with. She's from Panama. Panamanian African, you're Jamaican African, I'm American African. Yes. It's all African, one family. Okay. Exactly. But text me and I'll give you her info and you can give her a ring.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem. But get on that discipline. Get that calendar, get those markers, start thinking of, because the good thing, you only got a couple weeks to go. This ain't the whole school year. You just got to get him to the summertime. Exactly. So the school can leave you alone and leave him alone. So find out what's the highest grades he can get. I want you to strategically think of the consequences. He's going to lose his phone if he does this. You ain't going to get it back for a month. He's going to lose his pad. He ain't going to get it back for a month. I would say make the consequences at least 2 weeks. I would not no less than 2 weeks. I like a month, but if you want to say, I think a month too much, Dr. Umar, let me do 2 weeks, let me do 3 weeks, that's fine. But nothing under 2 weeks in order to get it back.
Okay.
All right?
I'll definitely do it.
No problem. Keep me posted, hon.
I definitely will. Bye-bye.
Peace and love. Now, I know some of y'all got issues with Africans who are not American African because y'all belong to these reactionary Negro tribal groups that say we should see other Africans from around the world as separate from ourselves. I'm not into that. I'm a Pan-Africanist. I am unapologetically Pan-African. So I don't care where the African comes from. I don't care if they're from Jamaica, Haiti, Panama, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Canada, Brazil, Mexico, Australia. It's all one family to me. I just want to be clear about that. And if you do have hang-ups about seeing other Africans from around the world as your brothers and your sisters, you don't want to come to the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy, because we will be a United States of Africa campus. The Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy will be a United States of Africa campus. So if you got an issue with seeing other Africans as your brothers and sisters, you are not allowed at my school. All right. Let me see who we got next. We're going to go to 10 o'clock. We got 20 more minutes. I'm going to try to get as many in. 215-989-9858. If you have a question about your child, 215-989-9858.
Hello?
Yes, sir, my brother. Where you calling from?
Yeah, I think we should suck a white nigga dick. I said suck a white nigga.
That was a you're a Negropean, brothers and sisters. Let me block his number. He called last week too. Let me block him. We have a serious beta male crisis in the black male population. We have a serious beta male crisis in the black male population. Okay.
Good morning, this is Dion.
Peace and love, brother Dion. Dr. Umar, you called. You had a question. We on the Black Parent Teleconference.
Yes, sir.
Where you from, brother Dion? Where you at?
I'm in Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. Shout out to H-Town. Go right ahead with your question, my brother.
Well, the question is, if I have a third grader who is, well, I do have a third grader who is, to me, not academically performing how she should, in my opinion. And, you know, we have these state testings coming up, and it's kind of hard to prepare her because she approaches third grade as if she's a kindergartner, if you will. And she doesn't understand grade level content even at this point of the school year. And so we're working with her, you know, to get her on task, on level. But she's struggling, and she got the letter to go to summer school this year, and we're just trying to find ways to get her on task, on grade level before the end of the year, before these major tests happen.
Is this the first year she's had to go to summer school? Will this be the first year? Okay.
Yes,
the school she goes to, predominantly white students or black students, or what's the racial makeup of the student body?
It's predominantly black and Hispanic, where the targeted population are the white kids.
Okay. And the teachers are mostly what?
Black and white and Hispanic. There's a mixture, more black and white.
Okay. She's been at this school how long? Since what grade?
Since kindergarten.
So this is the only school she's been to?
First grade. Yes.
Okay, first grade.
Pre-K. Yeah, first grade.
Okay, so she went somewhere else for preschool.
Right.
But she did go to preschool.
Yes, she did.
Okay, and she's been here since first grade.
Yes.
Kindergarten was at the preschool?
No, kindergarten was at another school, another elementary school altogether.
Okay. Couple thoughts. How much practice does she get outside of school working on her academics?
To be totally honest, not a great percentage.
Not a great percentage.
Not very, very much. She has been lately, but between August and now, it's been minimal, not too much.
Okay, why hasn't she had more practice?
Well, I think I can attribute to myself being a teacher. You know, myself and my wife, we just having a lifestyle where we're always working, and you know, I don't want to blame it on that, our lifestyles, but we've been kind of active to the point where that part of it hasn't been what it should, just to be honest.
Okay, I think that's a big piece of the puzzle right there. Now, let me go a little deeper. The schools she's attending, are these high achieving schools, or what are we dealing with? Middle of the road, low achieving?
Well, yeah, we're living, it's a Title I school for sure. It's, economically disadvantaged students.
Understood.
But it's not in a area that you would look at to be impoverished. It looks like the school is in a community where parents are well-to-do, they're working, it's well-kept, but the population down the block, around the corner is, trailer park. But then the school is in where it's $2,000, $3,000, $100,000 homes, blah, 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 nice lawns and things of that nature, but it's a Title I school for sure.
Okay, I got another question. How many children besides the princess?
2. One is an adult, the other is a high schooler.
Okay, so she's the only young child.
Yeah.
Okay. How much time do you and your wife spend with her together and separately? I don't just mean being in the home, but I mean, doing stuff together, hanging out together. How much of one-on-one time she's getting with her parents?
She gets quite a bit of time.
Quite a bit of time.
She gets, because she's with me, because I work at the school that she attends. So I'm with her a lot. I take her to school. She's there after school. She comes to my classroom. I have her start on her homework, things of that nature. She comes home and does her work. Weekends are spent together. Spend a lot of time at the dinner table talking about experiences and things of that nature.
I suspect your situation sounds similar to a mother who we spoke with earlier. I think that your daughter is feeling left out of everyone's life. She has 2 siblings who are significantly older than her. I suspect that they're not really spending time with their little sister. Okay, caught up in their own life. And as you said, you and mom have a lot going on. So you guys are kind of caught up in your life too. And then you work in the school with her, so she gets to see you, but she also see you tending to the other children that you obviously have to do for your job. I think the young lady is emotionally, I think she's hurt, and I think she feels emotionally disconnected from her family. And I also think that there's a strong chance that her underperformance might be intentional to get your attention. Let me tell you something about attention. Attention is so important to children. It is so important to children that they will accept negative attention if they can't get any good attention. I once counseled a kid at a private school here in Pennsylvania. Father was a big-time lawyer. They brought me in to do counseling with the kid because he was struggling at this all-white residential school, which was making the father look bad. He ended up getting kicked out the school. They brought me in to do counseling and do an evaluation. I told those parents, ain't nothing wrong with this boy. He could be the top student in this white school if he wanted to. They said, so what's the problem? I said, the problem is your son is so tired of his father putting everything before him. His father's career, being a lawyer, is more important than his son. So your son is failing out of this prestigious school on purpose to embarrass the father, because the only time he spends attention is when the school calls him to complain about his son's grades, and he has to take off from work and go all the way up to the school to see about his son. And guess what ended up happening? They didn't listen to me, so he ended up getting kicked out the school. He got himself kicked out the school to embarrass his father because his father never spent no time with him. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure she can use some of the help academically, but I think your daughter is so hurt inside, she can't focus on her work. She's so hurt inside, she not think about homework. She not think about doing well in school. Remember, the first need of a child is to be loved.
Right.
The first need of a child is to be loved. And until your daughter feels like she's being loved, she's not going to focus on her academics. So you and mom and the two big siblings have to come up with a plan to wrap your arms around her this spring and this summer. It's 4 of you guys. Maybe everybody can take a day and do something with her. It ain't got to be the whole day. Hey, you pick her up after school. You're going to take her to the movies. I'm going to take her to dinner. We're going to go here. We're going to go play some pool. We're going to go do some tennis. It don't even have to be things that's expensive. It could be, physical exercises. But she's feeling disconnected. She's feeling hurt. She's feeling overlooked. She's feeling ignored. And I think she might be going through a little depression as a result of it. And it's that depression that's resulting from a disconnection with her family that's leading to the grades. She don't need no special ed. She don't need no testing. She needs her family to spend time with her.
And that was going to be my next question is how, should she be evaluated because of her performance?
Absolutely not. For a couple of reasons. Number one, I think this is emotional, not academic. That's number one. I think this is emotional, not academic. Until we rule that out, we can't rule anything else in. Number two, 3rd grade is too early to get your child evaluated, my brother. 3rd grade is too early to be looking at an evaluation. I would not consider an evaluation until I see how she performs around January of 4th grade next school year. 3rd grade is too young. And what I would also do this summer is I would get her a tutor. She got to go to summer school. That's fine. But in addition to that, I'm going to get her a tutor for math, and I'm going to get her a tutor for reading. And they only have to work with her 3 hours a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 hour a day. That's it. You can get a high school student, college student, retired teacher. Shouldn't cost you much money if you get somebody from the community. Retired teachers will do it for free because they're always looking to give back. Find you one of those retired elder sisters up there, and they will work with her. But get her the tutor, because if you get her a tutor to work with her for those 6-8 weeks of summer, she'll come back. She'll definitely be on grade level. But guess what? She can start school on grade level, and she will slump again if her emotional needs are not being met.
Right. Okay.
You feel me? It's the time, my brother. It's the time.
Yeah. We never thought about, well, at least I haven't put that piece in where I considered it being emotional more than anything else. So yeah, that's good insight.
Yes, sir, my brother. Yes, sir. Yeah, spend some time with that princess, man. Spend some time with her. And y'all need to do stuff as a family, and y'all also need to do stuff as an individual too. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's just you and her, dad and daughter. Sometimes it's just mommy and daughter. Sometimes it's one sibling with little sister, then the other sibling with little sister. And then, of course, y'all need to do things as a family. But she feeling lost because think about it. She's the only young person in the house. Now, if she had another sibling that was a year younger or 2 years older, it'd be different because they right next to each other. Nobody's near her age. So you guys probably also need to link her up with some play dates, some friends, have her go and, spend some time with some friends. And then she needs to get involved in some sort of a structured activity too. I don't know what her hobbies are, but you need to get her in something that she likes to do, because that'll also help alleviate some of that, loneliness that she's feeling.
Right. Wow.
It's easy to reverse it though. Don't be hard on yourself. It's easy to reverse it, good brother. I just got to start putting that time in.
All right, we're gonna put those wheels in motion ASAP.
Got you.
Definitely.
And keep me posted. You got my number. If you got to hit me, just hit me.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Oh, no doubt, bro. All right now.
Okay.
The theme today is spending time with our children. That's what the theme is. Boy or girl, the theme is spending time with our children.
Hello?
Peace, my brother. Where you calling from?
Virginia Beach, Dr. Umar.
Virginia Beach, Positive Vibes Bookstore. Yes, sir. What's your question?
Yeah, I came to see you in Norfolk. In, what was that, November?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, man, I just had a newborn. He's only 3 weeks old, doctor. And this isn't really an educational question. It's more about like a family dynamic thing.
Go ahead.
Oh, you said that? Okay. So, so it. And I just had a son, so I think she's feeling a little left out because my girl, her mom was had to stay with us because she had a C-section and everything. So, and she's feeling a little jealous that she's not as much involved as them because, to be honest, doctor, I think it's not trying to make any projections, but she's been single for a long time and she's just like really feeling like not cared or like that we don't care, like she can't be involved. And I was just like needing some help on this, like for real, man.
Mm-hmm. My question is, what are y'all doing to include her? Like, if the other grandmom is involved, I think your mom should be involved. Are there times, do y'all invite her over to the house? Do y'all ask her to make dinner? Do y'all make dinner? I mean, there's a lot of simple things y'all can do to include her in what y'all doing. You know, you only get one mom, and tomorrow's not promised, my brother. So I think I need to include her more.
Yeah, so she came to the hospital the first 2 days. There was a lot of complications from the C-section. So we was, after the first 2 days, she didn't come to the hospital again. We didn't really have any visitors. And then once we got home, we invited to the house and everything. So
okay, but let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Is it possible that your queen and her mother is giving your mom shady vibes? Because, you know, women are very, very slick. Women can be very calculating. Does your mom not feel comfortable because your queen and her mother are kind of giving off a vibe that they don't want her around? Because if that's the case, you are going to have to put them in their place and say, that's my mother. And you need to tell your queen, really. You ain't even got to have a conversation with her mother. You need to tell your queen, you need to be more inviting of my mother. Like, are you setting the right tone yourself, my brother? Because if you're not setting the right tone, they're going to send a nonverbal energy to your mother that she's not welcome.
Okay, so the setting the tone thing, I never really considered that and the energy and everything. So I think I might have to have a talk with her today about that. But
yeah. Now your girl is black? She black?
Yeah, we all black.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think you got to have a talk with her. Yes. And then I also think that if I were you, I would probably have a talk with all three of them. I think there should be a family meeting. I know I said what you could do is talk to your queen first, see if that changes. If it don't, I'm sitting everybody down. As the man of the house, I'm sitting down both queen mothers and the queen, and I'm going to say this is how it's going to go. You know what I mean? You got to set that tone, my brother, because, you know, black women don't like each other. They don't like each other, and they don't have to have a reason not to like each other. It's a big crisis in the black community of black women who don't like black women. So you're going to have to set that tone, my brother. She should feel invited.
Okay, so thank you for saying that about the black women not liking, because my sister and my girl, my sister just don't like my girl. You know, it's always been like this. And now since the baby's been born, she's feeling left out too and everything because of that dynamic.
I would tell my sister to get over it or just stay away. Like, your sister can't disrespect your queen as long as your queen ain't being disrespectful to your sister. You know what I'm saying? But siblings don't get to dictate your life. So she just, you know, assuming your queen ain't being disrespectful to your sister just gonna have to get over it or stay away until she do.
Yeah, I appreciate that, doctor.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to take the lead, my brother. You're gonna have to exercise your God-given masculinity in that household.
Thank you.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah, that's all I had, man. Thank you.
Okay, King. No problem. All right. Okay. One of my beautiful black sisters sent me some eye candy. It's not inappropriate eye candy. She's a very beautiful chocolate curvy goddess. Let me see if we got another call here. She had her clothes on. Relax. She had her clothes on. Vegas.
Hello?
Peace, good brother. How's Las Vegas treating you?
Oh, Las Vegas is wonderful. It's all about how I treat myself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's your question, good brother?
Well, I have a couple questions for you, and it's regarding my son. I have two boys. Well, one's 15, one is 11, and I'm having trouble with my youngest boy. Now, me and the mom doesn't have the best relationship right now, and I feel like I'm losing my youngest son right now. What I mean by that is I have very little to no influence over him compared to my oldest son. And
why is that? How did that happen?
I'm not quite sure, but I guess if I really think about it, I spent a lot more time with my oldest son when he was smaller than I am now because of my work schedule. I've continued to get promoted within my job. I've gained more responsibility, obviously made more money, but it's taking time away from my family.
Okay, so you're still in the house with your two sons and their mother?
No, me and the mother, we're separated now.
Who do the sons live with?
The boys live with me primarily, or at least that's our arrangement.
Okay, they've been living with you primarily for how long?
For most of their life. The last 3-4 years, it's been consistently with me. Before the minute I found out I had kids, we were having boys. I had a conversation with her, and I'm telling her, as they get older, they need to be with me. I need to teach them to be a man. So when they were younger, they spent a lot more time with her, and then I'd have them for the weekends. And right now, we're flipping it over, and now they're primarily with me, but then on the weekends or whatever, they spend time with her.
Okay. Tell me how. Okay, so they've been with you both of them, 11 and 15, right?
Yes, sir.
4 years apart. And you have a good relationship with your 15-year-old, but it's very distant with your 11-year-old. Is that correct?
Yes,
okay.
It's very distant.
Let me ask you a question. Is it possible, and I'm just throwing this out there, it could be another reason and you can respond. Is it possible that your relationship with your older son, is it so strong that the youngest son feels left out of it? Does he feel that you value the older son more? Maybe you guys have more in common. What I've seen in my work is sometimes when the father has so much in common with one son, it'll look like he favors that son over the other. And the father, being unconscious of that, is actually being neglectful of the other kid because his relationship with the other kid comes so natural. In other words, the relationship with the older son may come so natural to you that you end up neglecting your other son, but not intentionally. Do you think that has anything to do with it?
I never thought about it like that, but as you're speaking it, I think that is a situation. I have a lot in common with my older son. He's almost like an image of me, not just physically, just the way he moves, his whole demeanor.
Yeah. If I were to ask your younger son, what's your problem with your dad, what would he say?
If you were to ask him.
Right. If I was to speak to him and say, your father said, you and him, your relationship ain't as good as it is with your big brother. Why do you think that is? What do you think he would say?
I think he would say spend more time with him.
There you go. You have your answer right there. So it sounds like you and the older son, y'all do a lot together.
Not necessarily. I don't.
You guys communicate more.
Time with when we're all together. together,
Okay.
we communicate more.
Okay, y'all communicate more. That's what it is. So you got to start communicating more with the younger son. And you also need to start doing things with the younger son. Both of them together, but then every child needs the family, but then they need their own individual relationship too. So you want to do things with both of them, and then you want to do things with each of them separately, but it should be equal. In other words, if you spent 5 times alone with your oldest son this month, you need to spend 5 times one-on-one with your youngest son this month too. You just have to be more conscious of how you are divvying up your attention, both inside the house and outside the house.
Okay.
I got another question. Is the younger son closer to the mother?
Yes.
He is.
100%.
100%. He closer to the mom. Your relationship with the mom, is it not a good one?
No.
Okay, because with him being a mama's boy per se, that could play a role on it too. You know, he may see you, he may not see you in as positive a light as he should. So you might need to have some one-on-one conversations with him anyway about how he's processing the relationship you have with his mom. That's going to be important, because if he's tight with the mom and he feel you mistreating the mom, that's going to affect your relationship. So you're going to need to talk with him anyway. So in addition to spending that one-on-one time with him, you need to make sure y'all cover his perception of your relationship with his mother.
I think that's a huge obstacle also. I did recognize that me and the oldest was closer, so I would put more effort into spending time with the youngest, but I know for a fact that because of our relationship, me and the mother's relationship, she has influenced the younger kid in not such a positive way as far as me.
I got you.
And I think that she uses that as leverage sometimes. And I don't know how to deal with that aspect of it. I don't know how to deal with that at all. I'm very patient. We, even though we don't get along, we do our best to co-parent, but I know there's a part of her who has an issue with me. And I know she definitely is using the kid to influence him in negative ways. And that is the toughest part because, I try to do the right thing, but sometimes I'll get caught up and I might try to, fight fire with fire and say something negative about her, and I'll instantly regret it. Like, that wasn't the right thing to do, but I know that's what's going on the other end, just how she communicates, and she's even told me before.
Got you. And you probably got to have a conversation. And you're going to have a conversation with her too, because she cannot be discussing your problems with the children, your problems with the children. That's a bad habit of Black parents. We got to stop that. Whatever's going on between you and her, the children should not be privy to it. I don't care if it's cheating. I don't care what it is. The children should never know what the personal relationship issues are between their parents. So you probably got to talk with her too. All right. But good luck with that, my brother. You can handle it, though. You can definitely handle it, but definitely start spending some time with that younger son. He got a lot on his mind.
All right, brother. Thank you, Dr.
All right. No problem. No problem. Be safe. Be safe. My friend just got with a white man. He's treating her like absolute garbage, forces her to have race play. What should I do? I'm not even going to respond to that goofy stuff.
Hello?
Peace and love, good sister. Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Cali.
All right. California. I'll be in San Diego on the 20th of May next month.
Right,
and I'll be in Los Angeles on the 21st and 22nd.
Well, I'm in LA the 21st of May, or?
Yes, 21st of May, Leimert Park, Malcolm X Day celebration.
Leimert Park, you'll be right around the corner from my house.
Yes, ma'am. And then the very next day, I'll be at Blessed Love Cultural Center on Mount Vernon.
Okay, tell me about the Leimert Park location again.
That's the Malcolm X Day. I think that's an all-day event. I'm gonna probably be speaking around 2:00 on Saturday the 21st.
Yeah, you'll probably be in the circle right there. But I live in that community, so
got you. Go right ahead with your question, good sister.
Oh, my question is, I started dating someone, and they have 3 children and a daughter specifically that's 13. So I just wanted to get some advice on like how to gently integrate myself into their family. They already have a mom that takes care of them, but he wants me to meet his daughter, but I don't want to be aggressive, but I want to build a relationship with her because that's what he wants. And I wanted to, but I just want some advice because I've never dated someone that had a daughter. I dated someone with sons. I had a great relationship with one person and their son, but the relationship didn't last. So that was disappointing, but it's okay. So this is kind of my first time entering into another relationship with my first time entering into a relationship with someone who has a daughter. So this will be my first experience.
Got you. Now this relationship.
And, just to let you know, the kids, the first son is already 25, so he's grown. The second one is 17, and the daughter is pretty much a daddy's girl.
Understood. How long have you been dating him?
Oh, wow. Like 9 months now.
Okay. Got you. You guys are still fairly new.
Yes.
I'm saying that to say, and nobody can make this decision for you guys, but I do want you to consider whether or not you and him have been together long enough for you to now become a part of his daughter's life. Nothing wrong with meeting her.
Sound.
Say that again.
I said that's sound.
Right. Nothing wrong with you meeting her. Nothing wrong with you guys doing things together as king, queen, and daughter. But in terms of you starting to spend a lot of time with her, my only concern is I don't know if the two of you have put in enough time. My fear is you coming into her life and her developing a very strong relationship with you very quickly, only for you to walk out because the two of you may not last. Again, we hoping that you do, we're hoping everything goes great, but we know the other thing can happen as well. You know what I mean?
No, I like that. That's good advice because my first relationship, I did not meet the child until about 2 years in because for that same reason, I wanted to develop that sense that I'm going to be with you long term first. And then the son was really young, so I didn't want to enter his life at a delicate age. So I told him, let's wait.
Yeah, but I don't see anything wrong with, this is daddy's friend. You may see her from time to time. We may go out time to time. That's great. But you may have to, for the sake of the child's best interests, you may have to withhold some of the natural maternal things you would want to do if you think it would cause excessive entanglement too soon. In other words, I would hate for your relationship with her to move along quicker than your relationship with him, which it could, especially if her relationship with her mother is not what it needs to be. Like she could be thirsty for that mother. And if you step in and fill that void and you guys' relationship take off and then something comes up that requires you to walk out of his life, that could leave her feeling wounded and abandoned. So we just got to be a little careful with that.
Yeah, no, I love that because I'm one of those really hands-on, loving, caring people. And you're right. My last relationship, it lasted longer than it should have because I was so attached to the son. And I had that rapport with him.
Yeah, and the guilt makes you stay. And the guilt makes you stay.
Right.
Because I've seen people who stayed in a relationship because it's like, hey, I can't walk out on this little boy. I can't walk out on this little girl. They've come to love me. And so now you're in a relationship with an unfulfilling relationship just so you don't hurt the child. And you don't want to do that to yourself either.
Yes, and then me and his mom had a beautiful relationship too. It was one that, we both had love for her son. She understood, and she was just happy that there was another positive woman in his life versus someone who didn't care for him. So she supported the relationship, and it was just like the ideal situation from the relationship standpoint with the child. So I think you're right, like establishing the foundation with the father first, maybe holding back a little bit, but you said it's okay to do like joint, even that to me is a lot, like a joint lunch or dinner or something else. I'm really delicate with kids. That's why I was asking for advice, like how to best integrate. I just don't want to like jump in.
Yeah, you want to move slow. You want to move slow no matter who the child is. You want to move very, very slow because you don't want to ruffle mom's feathers. You don't want to appear territorial to the child or controlling. And when it comes to discipline, you kind of want to stay away from that until, you guys have been together long enough where the child unmistakably knows that when you reprimand them, it's out of love. The biggest mistake that non-custodial parents make, non-biological parents make in children's lives is when they start offering reprimands and consequences before the child unquestionably knows that they love them as a child. There's nothing worse than punishing a child who don't know you love them because they can grow to hate you and hate the other parent.
Yeah, no, it's funny you mentioned that, Dr. Moore. That brings back like some interesting memories because the other relationship I was in, I had that genuine rapport with the kids. So much so he told his dad, like, when are you guys going to get married so I can have two moms? He never materialized.
Right.
That could have been a situation, but I never corrected him because I understood he had his dad and his mom. If I saw him doing something wrong, I would ask him to stop, but I never let him know there's consequences. I thought those consequences were reserved for mom and dad, not me.
Got you. Yep, I agree with you on that.
Well, but no, that's sound advice. I appreciate it. So you're saying go slow. What are some of the activities that you think are appropriate versus the things that I should not do yet? Or let's say if we put 12 months on the relationship, do you think that's better or more advisable?
Definitely. Okay. I definitely think the 12 months will be better than the 9.
I don't have a problem with saying I don't want to meet your daughter until we're together at least a year. I did that for 2 years. She's older, so I will say a year with the other relationship.
Right.
He was so young, so I said 2. So she's always going to be curious what daddy's doing and all that stuff. So I think a year is fine.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, maybe I should try that.
Right. And anything that's just general conversation, what do you plan on doing with your life, house, school, what's your hobbies? You kind of want to keep it limited to her, never go into the areas. Even if she tries to offer it, you want to redirect the conversation away from anything that involves mom or mom's relationship with dad, because the last thing you need is for the young lady inadvertently to mention to mom that you guys were discussing her relationship with her dad or anything like that. Sometimes kids will take it there. You're not being newsy, but I tell folks redirect away from that because you don't want adults to start thinking that you're using the child as a source of information on the relationship between the father and the mom.
Of course. No, I wouldn't do that, but that's good advice.
Yeah, but I think you'll be okay.
Okay, great. Well, I appreciate your time, Dr. Umar. This was great information. So thank you so much. You have a blessed rest of your day.
You do the same, Queen.
Okay, thanks.
All right, now.
Sorry, I missed your call. This is a voicemail. I'll get back.
It's too early to be flirting, ladies. Way too early to be flirting. Let me get Brother Muhammad on here.
How's it going, dog?
Peace and love, Brother Muhammad. Where you calling from?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, ATL, Brother Muhammad. Yes, sir. How's it going, King?
It's going pretty good down here.
All right. What's your question?
Okay, I got a custody battle going on right now,
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately, we'll be going to court soon. So I'm just trying to figure out what's the right way that I need to go about preparing for court where I can get custody of my son.
Well, number one, you might need to have a couple character witnesses. Okay, professional, family. They expect your family to back you, so you might got to get some folks, who are not blood relatives, some professional character references in case they want to talk to people who know you. That's number one. Number two, you definitely want to know up front. You want to have a plan for the custody, meaning how much time do you want and whether or not you can actually be accountable to that time. You feel me? So you never want to ask for more than what, you can handle. But the other thing, too, is the judge often looks to see who's being fair to the other parent. The parent who appears to be more fair tends to get more of what they want versus the parent who says, I want full physical custody, full legal custody. I don't want him or her making any decisions. They're going to look at you sideways. So you want to come off as very rational, non-emotional. Do not argue with that woman. I don't care what she says to piss you off, because the judge is looking to see who's the sane person here. That's what they're looking at. Who's the sane?
And they want to know who has the best interest of the child.
Exactly. Right? They're looking to see who has the best interest of the child versus who is trying to use the child to punish the other parent. That's exactly what they're looking for, my brother. So you want to be cool, calm, and collective. She say something, don't get emotional. Just say, Your Honor, I would like to respond to that if I may. Because if you come off in such a way that it refutes everything she said about you, you're going to come out of there all right. You're going to come out of there all right. But just make sure you got your I's dotted and your T's crossed as it relates to what you want. Do you want to rotate? How old is the children?
He's 7 years old.
Okay, so he's old enough. Technically, if you wanted to, y'all could do week on, week off. You could. Some parents do month on, month off. It all depends on how far apart y'all live.
Right. We stay in the same circle. Actually, I sold my old house and bought a new house right by close to her. So
well, shoot, y'all could do. Yeah, I would say week on, week off, month on, month off. But 1 month might be too much for him to go without the other parent. But normally, the parent who is off, they will get the kid on the weekends. So let's say you have April. So he's with you all April, but the mom will get the weekends in April or every other weekend in April. So you have 2 weekends as well. And then when he goes for her the entire month of May, she'll get 2 weekends in May, and then you'll get the other 2 weekends in May. The good thing y'all got going for y'all is y'all right by each other. That's to be honest with you, brother, that's the biggest fight, is when they're in different states. Now the judge has to decide who should get primary physical because the kid can't be swapped back and forth between states. So if you guys, being so close to one another, I would probably go for a week on, week off. We could, alternate weeks or months. Yeah, but the
only issue was she's a travel nurse, so I'm trying to.
Well, if she a travel nurse, that means she's not home that often.
Yeah, every now and then she's home. But
then that means you probably got to get primary physical then.
Right, she's trying to avoid having to pay child support, so she'll snatch them and.
Then.
But I have an attorney.
Okay. I don't see how she gets around that if she's a travel nurse. The only way she gets around that is if she takes a permanent nursing job.
Right.
I don't see how she gets around it. If you're a travel nurse, then you're a travel nurse. You know what I mean? I don't see how she gets around it. I mean, she can still get the amount of time she wants. It just won't be regular. In other words, she might get the summer. She might get the vacations. She can still get a lot of time she wants, but I don't see how she can do week on and week off if she has to travel.
I got you. Okay. All right. That makes sense. Yeah, it's gotten pretty bad to the point I had to ask the court to make her only contact me on Our Family Wizard. It's an app appointed by the court that stops women from talking to the fathers crazy because the court can see what she's saying.
Okay, what's the name of the app?
Our Family Wizard.
Our Family Wizard. Is that a local thing or that's national?
No, it's national, and they also got Talking Parents.
Talking Parents and Our Family Wizard.
Yeah, when fathers go to court and they're having dramatic baby mamas talking crazy to them, you can ask the judge to request that she only talks to you on one of those two applications. And it stops a lot of that craziness from happening because they know they're being watched.
So let me ask you this. It's no way for y'all to work this out without going to court.
Actually, I called you for that a while ago. And unfortunately, not, at this point, it's not because 1 minute she'll be okay. And my mother, unfortunately, is passing away right now.
Oh, sorry to
and
hear.
the next minute, she'll insult my mother.
Oh, no. That's off limits. That's off limits.
But the problem is the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And this behavior is coming from her mom. That's the way she's been raised, and her other sister's been raised. And this is who I picked, though, so I have to be accountable.
Yes, sir. We got to be accountable. Yeah, but I think I don't see how you don't get it. Purely based on, her traveling and the fact you live so close to her. The judge is probably going to say, hey, well, you can still see your kid. Just ask the father if you can stop by, when you don't have custody. So I think it's a slam dunk for you because you're not taking him out of the area. Now, it would be different if you was moving to Florida or something like that. But nah, I think you got it. I don't see how you don't win this. Just don't be non-emotional in that courtroom. I'm telling you now, do not show no type of quote unquote toxic masculinity.
Oh, no. We actually went to court once in downtown Atlanta, and she went off on the judge and because I took her to court in the wrong county, and she was upset about that.
Yes, sir.
She snapped at the judge, so I can only imagine how this is going to play out in court.
Got you.
But, I'm not that type of individual. I know better. So, yeah. But I appreciate you. When you coming to Atlanta?
I'm supposed to speak at Morehouse College on April the 20th, but I think that's only open to the students. I'm in Albany, Georgia on the 30th and 1st, April 30th, May 1st. So I might speak in Atlanta on the 29th of this month. You can check back with me closer to that date, see if I'm going to do something in ATL the 29th. That's a Friday.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you, man.
No doubt, man. Be safe and good luck with that.
All right. Thank you, bro.
All right. Okay. The major theme of today's teleconference as we wrap up. The major theme of today's teleconference as we wrap up is parents have to stop being selfish and work together for the best interests of the children. If you laid down to make them, you must stand up to raise them. If you laid down together to make them, you must stand up together to raise them. The other theme, Black fathers have to stop forgetting about the sons you made with other women when you move on to a new family. Black fathers have to stop forgetting about the sons you made with other women when you move on to a new family. Now, I want to deal with something. I'm going to end and come back. There's an article that I want to talk about, but I'm going to end this live and come back. And the article that I want to discuss with y'all today, when I come back, is called Why More Black Women Should Consider Marrying White Men. Why more Black women should consider marrying white men. I'm going to come back and handle this because I think this is propaganda by the power structure to convince more of us to abandon the Black family. They want Black women to abandon the Black family. They want Black men to abandon the Black family. They don't care if you abandon the family for another race. They don't care if you abandon the family for the same gender. They just want you to abandon the traditional Black family as a means of committing racial genocide. As a means of committing racial genocide. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I hope you learned something today. This is the Prince of Pan-Africanism. School year is coming to the end. Please mark your calendars. Saturday, September the 10th, FDMG Festival number 2. Hit your Cash App for the school, $ FDMG School. Hit your Cash App for the school, $ FDMG School. Hit your Cash App for the school, $ FDMG School. Hit your PayPal International Africans. Hit your PayPal International Africans at paypal.me/FDMG Academy, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. And I just want to tell all the ladies who've been flirting with me today that my wives said they don't appreciate you flirting with their king. My wives said stop flirting with the king. Long Island, New York, Saturday, April the 16th. Long Island, New York, Saturday, April 16th. Doors at 2. Roosevelt Library, Albany, Georgia, April 30th. May 1st, San Diego, May 20, LA, May 22, LA, May 21, Malcolm X Day, Leimert Park, and then May 22, Blessed Love Community Center on Mount Vernon. If you need to reach me, consultations, information, evaluation review, IEP review, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. Personal Cash App, $ Dr. Umar Johnson. You must put Johnson. $ Dr. Umar is a fake Cash App. $ Dr. Umar is a fake Cash App. $ Dr. Umar is a fake Cash App. You must add Johnson, DRUMAR Johnson, DRUMAR JOHNSON. Peace and Pan-Africanism. We are signing out.